to Center for Spiritual Living, Leesburg. Our theme for this year, which we've had so much fun exploring, is Timeless Wisdom, Evolutionary Vision. And our focus this month, for the month of October, is going further together. And boy, have we had some great discussion on that. The title of our talk today is Dig Deeper, and it will be given by our wonderful spiritual director, Charlene Banks. So make yourself comfortable, settle in as we officially begin our service. Please join us as we create our sacred space. We set our intentions of deepening into our awareness and practice of our 5 pillars of spiritual living by lighting this candle in our virtual world. Our first pillar is sacred study, represented by the divine quality of truth. We use this pillar to recognize the importance of an open mind and the power of our minds. The second pillar is affirmative prayer, represented by the divine quality power. This pillar honors the power of prayer in our daily lives. Our third pillar is meditation and the divine quality of peace. This pillar reminds us of the importance of meditation and the peace we feel when we quiet our minds. The fourth pillar is circulation and the divine quality of life. We know that the great law of circulation works in our lives. As we give, so shall we receive. And the fifth pillar is sacred service and the divine quality of love. This pillar affirms our call to be a service to our world as we see through the eyes of love. Let us close our eyes as we bless this sacred space and our time together. As we weave each of these pillars of spiritual living into our service today, may they deepen our own spiritual practices of study, prayer, meditation, circulation, and service, expanding our minds and our hearts to the 5 divine qualities of truth, power, peace, life, and love. We also bless everyone who made our service possible today and everyone in attendance. May the energy of love that is generated here bless everyone abundantly, and so it is. Please feel free to add to the chat or in the comments any prayer requests or celebrations that you would like us to include later in our service when we have our community spiritual mind treatment, which is a form of affirmative prayer. And now we're going to move into our time of meditation with Charlene.
Thank you, Tamara. As always, you do such a beautiful job of welcoming everyone. And so at this time, we take a moment to just deepen our spiritual connection with each other in our community and with the world by just taking a moment of meditation. And it's really nice to be able to meditate together as a group, that it just changes us intrinsically. So I invite you to just set your feet upon the ground in a nice anchored way. And if you're comfortable, close your eyes. And just allow a nice, deep cleansing breath to take its presence in your body. With this inward eye, we focus on that higher presence that is in each and every one of us. It has never left. We are never alone, always with the One. Noticing how your breath slows down. Your shoulders are relaxing. Your jaw is unclenched. All the worries of the morning have floated away from you, and you are right here, right now, present. In the center of your being, I'd love for you to imagine a flickering candle that represents the inner light of the divine. And with our attention, it grows bigger. Feel the warmth radiating through your body. You are loved. You are whole. You are complete. You have a divine purpose here on this planet. You were not a mistake. Qualities of light that have been given to you specifically help make this community a better place, this world a brighter place, because you are in it. We say to ourselves, I am the eyes, the heart, the hands of God. This light of the divine is not limited to our own body, for it moves past the porosity of our skin and envelops us with a field of light around us as we move through our world. We are the light of the divine. Our attention to the light makes the light grow. So with this awareness of this imbued, this totally enmeshed light that we are, we cannot separate it from who we are if we tried, nor would we want to. I know that each of us connect with each other on that plane where we're all one, and together our lights shine We light up the world. As this community, we are making the world a brighter, lighter, more divine, more aware of its divine place. That is our work in the world, and we do it well. And so we just bring our attention back into our present moment, into our bodies, into this room, into this place wherever we are, knowing that we are brighter, we are lighter, the world is on the path of enlightenment because we are here. I release my word into the law knowing that it is all good, all is well, and so it is. And now we have a song from Leah.
The pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. 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 I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that have caused me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream that I've left behind. I am light. Pure light. Sing it with me. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I'm not my race. My soul inside is all light.
Wow and wow. All right, hold on. I've got to make myself the spotlight. 1 second, please. Oh my gosh. Leah. So if I told you that I didn't see that video or know what the topic was before I did my meditation, you wouldn't believe me. But it's true. I'm just like, anyway, it's all God. It's all God, and it's amazing. So welcome, and if this is the fourth Sunday. This topic, dig deep. I love the topic because last week we introduced a new Wednesday night effort where we're gonna dive deeper into the topic that we talked about on Sunday. So every Wednesday we dive deeper for pearls so that we can throughout the week notice little moments where the talk showed up in our life. And I love this talk title, Dig Deep, because we're literally digging deeper. And now, of course, in my little bit of a scientific, I'm not going to claim science. I'm going to claim geek. This is what I am. I'm just like a geek in general. Science geek, maybe. But so I thought about this and I'm like, digging deep. What does it mean to dig deep? So first of all, what it means to dig deep in my mind, it reminds me of that Bible story in Luke I think it's 648, and I'm going to paraphrase. It talks about building the foundation of our house, not on sand, but on rock. So it says, dig deeply. This is like a rephrasing. Dig deeply and lay the foundation on rock, so that when the floods arise, the river that bursts against the house cannot shake the foundation because it's been well built. So when I think about digging deep, I think, well, I could create a life for myself that's built on superficial things. I could. Actually, I did. In my 20s, it was all about superficial. If it looked good, it was good. Never mind what I was doing to maintain my 128-pound body, which should have been about 150 on a healthy day. No. Never mind what I was doing. We all know what I was doing to maintain that too skinny frame. I just knew that I looked good. That's not sustainable, my friends. I found that out. I'm in my 20s. What do? We find things out. Other things. You build your house on sand. You're just hoping that people don't look closely at things, because turns out you didn't really do the work. You're just trying to make it look good. So digging deep to me means moving past superficialness, superficial structures, and going a little deeper and finding what's really true. And then what else does that entail? Questioning our assumptions about reality. Because I think back to my 20s, and what I had done was I bought hook, line, and sinker the advertising notion of what a female body should look like, and I didn't question it. And I wanted to be, I don't know, I was just pretty vain at the time. I'm just glad we didn't have Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter, but because I would have been the selfie queen. It was all about the self, me, vain as they come. And, I thought that was the thing. I was hook, line, and every magazine I read, everything was all about, for a woman, your quality, your value is in your looks. And so I just chased after that, much to the dismay of family and friends. They're like, why are you working that hard? If you worked that hard on your software programming skills or on anything else, you'd be amazing. But no, here you are. So it's funny, just that I didn't question the assumptions. I didn't question the values that were given to me. And so that's one of the things. Digging deeper, we question our assumptions and we ask, is this true? Is this my truth? Even when I hit 30, I believe I started my healing around 29. Into age 30, I found a support group, Overeaters Anonymous. It was bulimia, but still, Overeaters Anonymous is how you handle that. And through that group of people, that 12-step program, I started to question my assumptions. And even though I had believed it up until then, that didn't mean I had to keep believing it. The cool part about assumptions is that you can question them anytime. And if they're no longer true for you, you get to toss them and come up with embrace new beliefs, deeper truths that are true for you, and then follow those, and your whole life changes. Tamara was talking about that a couple weeks ago. Just changing the way you see things changes your entire life. So that's one thing about digging deeper. Another thing, resisting the urge to judge. So part of the meaning of digging deep is resisting the urge to judge other people by the superficial appearances that they present. And this means that as you scroll through Instagram and you're looking at those pictures, don't judge it, for good or bad, because you're probably not looking at the truth. I read recently that some of the Instagram influencers who are bodybuilders and so forth, they'll take 200 pictures to get that one shot. And then they'll Photoshop that one shot, which means, oh my gosh, like you can't believe much of anything that you see. You gotta question it. And finally, the ability to sit in the question. So to me, this is just digging deep means the ability to just sit in the I don't know, the part where you don't know the answer. Because isn't it so very tempting to jump to a solution? I just experienced this yesterday. We had a group of people and we got together yesterday morning, and somebody in the group asked a question, and I was like, I know the answer to that in my brain. I didn't say it. And then slowly, every person in the group gave an answer that was so much better than my answer. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. I love being in a community where A, I don't know everything, and B, it's shown to me every day that I don't know everything. Because, and people ask me, Charlene, I think you're full of it. Like at work, I remember someone said something and I was like, oh, I'm wrong. I love being wrong. I'm so happy that I'm wrong about that. And they said, okay, you're being, I forgot the word. It's something like false or fake. I think the word was fake. You're being fake. You don't really, no one loves being wrong. And I'm telling you guys, the reason I always say I love being wrong is because I can come up with some crazy, scary stuff in my head. I can come up with a story that scares myself, like the equivalent of the child who thinks there's a monster under the bed. And I love being wrong about the monster. There's no monster. Yay, there's no monster. Because then I don't have to believe every thought that comes into my brain. When I am proven to be wrong about something, I'm like, oh, good. Because that also means that some of these other ideas I have that aren't so great, well, hopefully those are wrong too. And then I get to keep renewing and renewing it. And I'm sure I learned that in one of my classes over the years, taking these Science of Mind classes. They help us to peel apart the part that's really you from the part that has been given to you, so that you can find out who you really are and start to be that. And it's pretty much unlearning a lot of false things. And I'm sure I didn't make it up that I love to be wrong, but I embrace that every day. Yeah, I mean, it's just the thing. If you can let go of the ego every day in a small way, then you're making progress in my mind. So to me, the meaning of digging deep and being the geek that I am, I didn't stop here with what does it mean to dig deep? Building a strong foundation, right? Digging past forget the superficial, let's go deeper. Don't judge based on appearances. And then, of course, sitting in the question, being okay to not have all the answers and it's okay to be wrong. And then I thought about, well, wait a minute. So we always have these three levels. There's the personal. How does that show up in my life as an individual, which I've already given you plenty of examples just now. And then there's, how does it show up in the community that we're in, our spiritual community? Because it's like those concentric circles, right? I am me, but then I'm also part of a spiritual community. And then we, spiritual community, show up in the world. So the three layers, the three levels of how does digging deep look, those are our three levels. And then I thought, well, what are our tools? If I were to dig deep, I'd probably have a tool belt. Every time I watch people do things in their industry, whether it's a scuba diver who has their tank, their goggles, right, their mask, or it's a carpenter who has at least a hammer and a couple nails, what would be the tool belt for the people who want to dig deep? Well, I'm thinking that these three things, and of course I love alliteration, so in my tool belt I have commitment, curiosity, and courage. So let's look at the three of those. And so then, of course, I had to make a matrix because that's what people do when they're geeks. So I made this little matrix, and it's got down the side, it's got the three levels: personal, community, and global. And then across the top, I've got commitment. What does it look like on a personal level, a spiritual community level, and a global level? What does curiosity look like on a personal level, on a community level, on a global level? And what does courage look like on a personal level, on a community level, and on a global level? And so I have this like grid with 9 little squares, and I'm so happy with myself. And I'm like, Charlene, do not show this on a slide. That's super geeky. So I'm not going to show it on a slide. But I'll talk to you about it. And later, if you want to have the sheet of paper with the grid on it, I'm happy to share it. Because some of you are geeks too, right? But here it is. So I'm thinking I've got a tool belt to do my digging. But I'm going to need a commitment. Personally, what's my commitment why am I digging? Like, commitment is all about the why am I here? What am I doing? And trust me, when it's 4 a.m. and you decided, I'm going to go to the gym every day at 4 a.m. and 4 a.m. comes around, you're like, why did I commit to 4 a.m.? You need the why. What is my why? So instead of giving you a why, I've got a little story, of course. So at the dedication of a church, a young minister recited the 23rd Psalm. You guys know the 23rd Psalm. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. I love the 23rd Psalm, but I won't continue to read it. You know what it sounds like. Now, the thing is, this young pastor, his recital was flawless. Every word was perfect. And when he finished, the audience was visibly impressed and even applauded. They burst out into applause, you guys. Then a member of the congregation stood and asked the church's elderly minister if he would also recite the 23rd Psalm. The old minister looked somewhat surprised by the request, but nevertheless he rose to his feet and recited the psalm. But his delivery was not nearly as eloquent as that of the younger minister. He stumbled over the words, and a couple of times his voice cracked. It was clear he was not as skilled as an elocutionist. When he finished, the room was silent, no applause. But there was not a dry eye in the house. Everyone was deeply moved. A congregant sitting in the back of the sanctuary leaned over to his friend and said, I don't understand. The younger minister's delivery was perfect, and he was applauded. But the older minister kind of messed up a little bit, and yet people were so moved. His friend, wiping a tear from his eye, said, you see, the younger minister knows the psalm, but the older minister knows the shepherd. So to me, personal commitment is my spiritual practice in getting to know the shepherd. I don't want to sit here and just give you pithy Ernest Holmes quotes. I want to say, here's how it showed up for me. This is what this looks like in my world. It's going to look different in your world, but if I can't put those in my own words, if I'm just reciting something perfectly, I think it's not as deep, and that the commitment for me to dig deep in a personal way then shows up in community. So the commitment for spiritual community is where each of us has done the personal commitment part, and then we show up together to join hands and do that commitment as a community. That means we show up for each other even in our imperfection. There was a time I used to think, it was a while back, like a long time ago, because I don't think like this now. I used to think, I have to have everything together before I show up and do a talk. No, not at all. Because, well, first of all, no one's perfect. And in the community that we're in, allowing ourselves the imperfections allows us to see and accept the imperfections in others. And people know immediately when you don't kind of enumerate all of their faults and you just hug them and love them anyway. They feel your love. If you love yourself anyway, they feel that you love them too. And you also know when you're in the presence of a perfectionist, because they're enumerating your faults and they're probably doing it to themselves. And I invite you, every time you feel someone enumerating your faults, give them some compassion, because oh my gosh, it must be tough to live in their head. They're probably beating themselves up twice as hard. Finally, globally, we look at social justice and we know that the world is not a just place for everyone. And so as a community, we can show up and we can do what we can do. We can do community service. We have some really good projects coming up that allow us to, as a center, make a difference, because that's our commitment to be there, deeply supporting in any way we can in our commitment. And remember, curiosity is next. So what does that look like? And really, curiosity, I was reading an article, I forget what, I think it was Inc. magazine, INC dot, I guess it stands for Incorporated. They said that people, that a lot of managers who are trying to retain their employees unwittingly drive them away by being so focused on the mission and the vision. What is our mission and our vision? And they might get together in the morning and talk about the company's mission and vision, but that doesn't make a happy employee. And I know that they're talking about there's a mass exodus and people are losing employees left and right. When there's probably a myriad reasons, there's a lot of different reasons for that, but one of them was people really would love to be happy at their job. They're at their job more than they're with their family sometimes. And so to make them happy, how do you make somebody happy at their job? Let them play. And now we're not talking about ping pong table play. We're talking about giving them a task and letting them discover how to do it well. Use their curiosity. They could be creative to go find a way to make it fabulous, and trust them to come back and say, oh my gosh, I found this new thing. As a developer, I know my company is a software development company, as you know, and my son works with me, and there's nothing I like more than to give him something and go, I don't know, this is me manipulating him, but I'm also his mother, so it's a little tough. So I'll go, you probably can't figure this out, but we've got to get this web service to come in and it's probably too hard. And he's like, I'll take that, ma'am, and he goes off. And he's doing whatever he does, and he finds a way not only to do it, but to do it really, really well. And I mean, I'm not just saying that because I'm his mom. I'm like, wow, I would have totally not found that article on that thing and then installed it and then implemented it and then created the script. No, I would have been stuck at something that seemed hard, because for me, my talent is my curiosity in another area, like doing diagrams and making sure architecturally it works. But it's so great to give your workers or whoever's with you on a team, give them something to bite into, to sink their teeth into. Don't overly outline how it should be, because it takes away their curiosity, and let them run off and get it done. I mean, check back in with them, I suppose, do your thing if you're a manager, but something about the curiosity that this article mentioned that lets people explore and find ways, it lights them up, and they don't even notice that it's lunchtime already. They're not watching the clock, and they're not, aiming for the door exactly when the clock chimes 5 o'clock. So there's something there in curiosity. And so that, on a personal level, if we can work from curiosity, even in a spiritual community level, what if it's safe to ask each other questions about curiosity? Like, we could have two people in a group that don't see eye to eye on something, but to allow one person to go, nah, I hate that idea. I hate it when, or I don't agree. And other people could go, oh, tell us more. Why don't you agree? Because what we want is a varied set of opinions. We want a little bit from every person so that it can be multifaceted, not just single, two-dimensional. No. We want a rich experience. So we welcome everybody's ideas, even if they don't get right in step with what we're saying. It's okay to disagree. And on a global level, we take our spiritual community, and we all know we believe in certain like social justice, maybe even mantras. But if we take this out to the more global community, and how does that look? Are we going to listen and allow those opposing points of view in, and then just sort of, chew on them, listen to people? One of our members was talking about, I just want to go to some of these school board meetings and just hold up a placard, just hold it up. And I don't have to fight them, but I want to represent us, and this is what we believe. And so it's just unity and justice for all, that kind of thing, and holding up a placard. What a great way to show up in the world. To not necessarily fight somebody else, but represent an opinion that you stand for. And just be there. Instead of shying away, oh, I don't want to go there because they're going to be fighting and I don't want to have to fight. Don't fight. Just show up and be your amazing self. Stand for the truth, stand for principle. That's all. That's what that looks like. Super easy. Finally, the courage. Personal courage. Man, being yourself in the midst of people that don't, even if they don't get it. Like, I'll be in a group of people, and sometimes I'm the only black one. It happens. And somebody will say something completely ignorant of another person's experience. And so that the courage to be me, it comes up, and I have to either, sometimes I'll point it out and sometimes I won't. But I'm not going to change who I am to accommodate their blindness. So that's what's not going to happen. Yep, I'm going to show up with my kinky hair. That's going to happen. And they're going to have to deal with it. This is what we're going to do in my mind. And that is courage for me. Because yes, there was a time when I had to have my hair straight and silky in order to think that I'd be accepted by a certain group of people. Now I'm like, they'll be all right. They'll handle it okay. I mean, it might have something to do with the last couple of years, where so many white folks got out there and said, Black Lives Matter. They get it. And I'm like, ooh, I feel seen. Thank you. Maybe I can show up more me, more authentically. And so it is. It's a give and take. And we have to have the courage on both sides. You guys have been a great community. Just courage to say, yes, we get it. We're with you. You know, it's just awesome to have that personal courage, because that leads to our community courage, where disagreement is okay. We have the courage to listen and to embrace, even if it's not exactly what we think it should be. Because, you know, we might grow. I might have a really staunch opinion today. It's okay if I grow and keep growing. It's fine. And finally, what does the courage look like on a global level? Again, getting out there and marching, if that's your thing, or becoming part of some effort for social justice, some effort for the principles that we believe in to show up in the world. Because that's our spiritual work. We want to get our ego out of the way and get our community out there in the world to make it, I don't know, we always say to make it a better place. It's a very, lofty and attainable goal. So I will leave you with this. The Spiritual Life, said by Henry Nouwen in Falling Upward, this book. The spiritual life does not remove us from the world, but leads us deeper into it. So with that, I will invite you to go within and just saying, yes, thank you, Divine Spirit, for bringing just the right ideas, influences, inspiration to us at the right time, because we are all one. There is no separation. There's only God. There's only goodness. The principles of love, of faith, of power, of abundance, of joy. Those principles are the building blocks of life itself. And we are one with the divine, where we were created in the image of God to be on this planet and show up as ourselves, unapologetically, embodying exactly what the divine has placed in us. And we are in community with one another to help one another polish off, smooth off those rough edges. And that we are that divine community, this CSL Leesburg community. And we are one with all that is great. And so I speak my word for anyone who is experiencing any sense of lack or limitations, anybody who's experiencing the appearance of dis-ease, or even just those in the path of angry weather, what appears to be disharmonious weather, that these are the experiences of the human, and yet there is something about us that is above it. There's something about our nature, our truth, that is never harmed, never hurt. We are always whole, perfect, and complete at some level in our beingness. We are still divinely kept, divinely held, and unbesmirched. We are divine beings. We are having a human experience. So I know this truth for each and every one of us, that we take this human experience and we build upon it, and we work on a personal level, doing our spiritual practices. We work on a spiritual community level, doing what is up for us to do, and we work together as a global humanity, global culture, knowing that the best is revealing itself in and through even what looks like calamity, that right in the midst of that is God. It is so good to be able to see from that higher place that all is working together for the good. And so I release this word of knowing this because I'm so grateful to be able to watch our lives unfold on an individual, community, and global level, watching us become more and more of who we really are. I'm so grateful to be the witness for this. So I release my word into the law, knowing that it is already done. So I let it go and I let God, and so it is. And here is another song by Leah.
Open your mind to the magic, the mystery. Open your eyes, be surprised by this day. And the moonlit night will be the guide to the sunshine that wants to light your way. We are more than our feet. Tears of love brought us here to this rite of passage. Open your mind to the magic, the mystery. Open your eyes, be surprised by this day. And the moonlit night will be the guide to the sunshine that wants to light your way. Listen, wisdom will speak. Be the truth and the change that you seek. In this world becoming, open your mind to the magic, the mystery. Open your eyes, be surprised by this day. And the moonlit night will be the guide to the sunshine that wants to light our way. As the sunshine just wants to light our way.
Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, thank you so much, Charlene. Thank you, Leah. Oh, it always just starts the day out on just the right note when I hear such a wonderful message, when we hear such wonderful music from Leah. Now's the time, as you can tell by the slide on the screen, to bless the donations that are shared with us today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. So we are a tithing community. The donations that you share with our center bless everyone, those who give and those who receive. Please look at the screen. There's so many ways for you to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. We thank you so much for your support. No matter how you're giving, please take that gift physically or just mentally and place it over your heart and join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. Oh, did you feel it? Did you say it like you meant it? Because those are such powerful words. All right, these offerings are just some of the ways that we take what you give. And speaking of giving, I want to say a little bit about our conscious giving program. So, guys, I can hear that clock ticking, and I got to confess that I don't think I've even done this myself. But boy, do I have motivation, because right after service today, I'm going to make sure that I go on our website and find that little tab at the top that says give, and I'm going to click on it. And I'm going to make my commitment for the next year. This helps our board prepare our budget for the coming year. And there's a little extra incentive. You can see that spiritual journal. I've got mine right here, guys, and I don't think I could show up on Sunday without this. I'm just going to try to page through here that you see, like, every little page, man. I take so many notes. You're going to see like Post-it notes and stuff and tabs. And not only do I take some notes on the message that I receive on Sunday, but guys, I look through this and I love going back and reading some of the messages. And you talk about digging deeper, man. I can pull out my journal and I go back and I revisit some of the messages that I received on Sunday, and I revisit them. I dig a little deeper, and I have this. And my one for last year is right over there on my bookshelf. And I just keep these. And it's a wonderful reminder of how our CSL community just feeds my soul, reinforces my commitment, furthers my curiosity, and gives me the courage to keep my light shining brightly. How'd you like that one, Charlene? So I want to say that I make a monthly pledge. I have a reoccurring thing. The money comes out of my bank account. I don't even notice that it's gone anymore, except for my little reminder. But if that's scary for you and you'd rather just not have an automatic or a reoccurring commitment, that's fine too. Just go on that little website, go to that tab, give, and fill out a form and do whatever you can. And there's a deadline if you want to get your own journal, spiritual journal. Please make sure that you do that by next Sunday. Knowing Charlene, guys, she'll probably give you till midnight next Sunday, October 31st. I can hear her laughing. So make sure that you do that. And as always, we thank you so much for your support. That means that we can keep feeding your spiritual journey and providing all the things that we do. Speaking of all the things that we do, look what we got going on this week. On Tuesday at 9 a.m., please join Charlene and friends, and they're going to talk about the dreams that they've been having and talk about digging deeper. You get to explore your dreams and share with the group, and they might give you some insight that you might have missed because you're just a little too close to it. Also on Wednesdays, we had our first diving deeper session. And what we do is we take the message that we got today and we dive a little deeper. How are you digging deeper this week? How is today's message appearing in your spiritual practice? And we have so much fun just coming together and sharing our insight of how is spirit showing up in your life. And you get together with like-minded people and we just share, you learn, you grow. It's just a wonderful thing to do midweek. So if you can join us. Also, a little commercial, there's my face yet again. We're having a new class that will start in January. Change your thinking, change your life. And I love this idea that we're doing this at the start of the new year when a lot of people are thinking about New Year's resolutions. So if you're interested, please sign up. You can just go to CSL.org and look for classes. And I would so love to join you, have you join us. The more the merrier. And we're going to be experiencing how our thoughts can change the way we live each and every day. So here it is, guys. It always comes so quickly as we end our sacred time together. We're going to once again just place your hands, just feel that light that is burning within you. Give yourself a little hug. And join me as I say, I am love. And then look at somebody who might be in the room with you, or just look at the screen and know that people are looking right back at you and they're pointing their fingers at you. Join me as we say, you are love. And then put your, oh, I could hear you. Yay. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. I can't tell you how much I love that. So put your hands up in the air. Let's all say this together, guys. It's all love. In my day. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for joining us. If you can, Please stay. We're going to share our pearls, what stuck with us that immediately we're bursting. We can't wait to talk about it. And if you can, come back on Tuesday morning or on Wednesday night and join us again. As always, thank you so much for joining us. You are love. Have a wonderful day and stay if you can.